Hey. How's everybody doing today? I am very excited for another episode of the Content Creators University. I want to welcome you. If you're new, well, my name is JP Hightek. I am the humble host of this weekly broadcast. So what we do is every single week we have what we call here, right, a professor. So I have a saying, the day you stop learning, you stop growing. So this platform is for folks like you and I that always want to keep learning. We need to understand that technology is a draw play that you need to stay rooted and keep learning. There's always something new. There's always an update, a change, a new way of approaching. Well, we need to stay rooted and we have to keep learning so we're not behind. You know, you can be the smartest person in the room in 2020 and then in 2021 not be so much simply because you're behind. New things are taking place and you just have not adapted to that. That is why we're here, and that is why we have people coming onto this broadcast every week to teach you and I things we need to understand on how to establish our business, on how to approach our content creation and monetization, on how to, elevate the things we're doing and impact the people, not just surrounding us, but in our community. That is crucial, right? Because if you think that what you're doing is just for you, you need to think again, right? Everything we're doing, there's a targeted audience. There's somebody that is part of our flock. And how can we draw the right people to our business, to the things we're doing? That's why we're here every week, right? So I am very excited about the guest that's behind stage. We're about to talk about something phenomenal. But before we do that, I want to go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsors. Earlier, you saw some ads. And just to remind you, the replay of the conference, Creators Unleashed, like you saw, is currently available for replay. All you have to do is go to the website at jphightek.com/CCU replay. Go ahead and grab it. Watch it. Is there as a lesson. We have amazing content. So many speakers. 4 speakers each day. It was a 2-day event. So yeah, you want to get it, right? And then also we have Charles Jackson Media, a sponsor of the platform. And Charles Jackson Media is for the folks that want to build their studio the right way. So if you do not understand the right camera to use, the right setup, the right equipment, lighting, all those things that might be daunting sometimes, well, he helps people do that, right? All you have to do is go to his website, which is charlesjackson.media. Connect with him for a free consultation meeting. See how he can help you. And we want to thank you guys as well, the listeners, right, of the podcast, and those that are watching this live stream or the replay every single week. Thank you guys for your support. If you want to support, all you have to do is go to my website, jphightek.com/podcast. Support it, and we appreciate that. Now, we also do have more sponsors, but before we talk about them, let's go ahead and run this ad, and we'll be right back and announce who are the upcoming guests. Who will be next? What's next in the Content Creators University? So don't go anywhere. Stay with me. We'll be right back. All right, now we're about to talk about who is next in the Content Creators University. But before I say that, this ad you just saw, that was from RTN Streams. Now, like we always say, right, it's all about the tools we believe you need. As you know, I'm broadcasting this right now. My encoder that I'm using is called Ecamm Live. For those of you who do not know, Ecamm Live is a broadcasting software encoder that you can install as of the recording and the broadcast of this video only on Mac computers, right? And I'm broadcasting that right now. However, Ecamm does not allow you to embed your live stream and to elevate, your live stream and bring it closer to your target audience. So in order to do that, I'm using a solution called RTN Streams. So this broadcast right now, not only is broadcasted live simultaneously on my YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, right? But also is on my website. And right now I am live on my Roku TV application. And the solution I'm using to do that is RTN Streams. So if you know how to upload a video to YouTube, you know how to use RTN Streams. And we want to thank them for their sponsorship to this show. All you have to do is go to rtnstreams.com. Check it out. Pretty awesome stuff. All right. And also, we want to go ahead and give a shout out, right? A shout out to a friend of mine that has been supporting us behind stage. He said, don't call my name. So he knows who I'm talking about. Hey, we got to do it sometimes like that, right? I'm all about giving props when it's due. And so that is very important. Let's, celebrate people when they're alive. That's what we do here. So next, we will have Angelica Prater. For the folks that do not know Angelica, she's a, professional speaker and she's an income strategist. And she will be here with us on October 13th. And she'll be talking to us about how to articulate and charge your worth as a creator and business owner. Well, this is something that a lot of folks struggle in, right? We sometimes do not believe we're worth a certain amount or we're shy to charge that. How do you properly articulate that? What are the things to consider when it comes down to charging your worth and truly making the income you deserve, right? We'll be talking about that, and I'm very excited about this conversation. We also will have what I call the power duo, and that is Anna and Fulgence. They will be right here on this space October 20th. Very excited about this conversation. They are the one that, they do the eCam news, showing everybody, tips and tricks on how to master your software, right? And elevate your visuals. So they'll be here, right here with us here to show us some tricks again and also talk about their journey. How is it that they ended up doing the things they're doing? And also how can other people, step in their same shoes and do the same thing? Looking forward to that conversation. Now enough about the folks that will be here. We have somebody backstage. Her name is Juanita Coley. Now, folks, I gotta let you guys know, she has a fantastic spirit. I personally reached out to her and I was gracious enough for her to say yes. She's busy, like we all busy, but she's the type of person that's approachable. One thing in corporate America, I've worked personally in corporate America for several years, and one thing is you have two types of people. You have the ones that are open for you to approach them and you can network, and I always say networking is the new currency. And you have the folks that you can talk to them, right? They're untouchable. They're just those type of people that are make you feel like they're unreachable. Well, she's not those. She's the ones that care. And that's why we always bring people that we believe care about you and I, about our interest, our value, and the things that we want to learn. And today we'll talk about women in tech. How exactly did she become an influential woman in tech? How is it that she built her technology company and she's able to employ other people and travel around, the world and in different countries and states and things like that? And she's living from her company, right? She is employing herself, helping other people work, and she wants to help other women do the same thing. We want to know why. What's her journey? How should we approach that? I have a wife, right? I have a sister, wife, and children. So those are the things we need to know. Without further ado, we're about to bring her over here. Are you ready? Grab your popcorn and all of that. I'm very excited about this conversation. Right after this animation, she'll be right here on the panel. Stay with me, folks. All right, all right. Hello
Hey,
there,
hey,
and welcome to the
hey.
show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. It
I
is a
didn't know we were
pleasure.
grabbing popcorn. I haven't eaten yet, so I would have definitely grabbed the popcorn for sure.
I'm sorry to hear that. I know how those days can go, right? You get so busy, you forget your lunchtime, and oh boy, before you know it, there's another engagement you have to jump into. We're still grateful, right? Thank you so much for taking the time to connect with us here on the Content Creators University. You heard me say that at the beginning of the show. We say every single guest is a professor, so you are going to be our professor today. So welcome to the
Okay.
show again.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, ma'am. So, first question off the bat, like we always do, for the folks that do not know you, can you take a minute, introduce yourself, tell us who you are before we get started, please?
Yeah, so that may take some time, but no, my name is Juanita Coley. For those of you that do not know, I am a believer, a wife, a mother of three. I own a firm, a contact center consulting firm, where we help companies to implement technology, optimize the technology that they currently have in place, and build better workforce management teams. And so, in a nutshell, that's a little bit about me. What else you want to know, JP?
All right, all right. Thank you for that introduction. I appreciate that. Now, you do a lot of stuff, right? I know we can't put it in 1 minute, which is the reason why we have you here. But at the same time, you're not just doing it for yourself. You went further where you want to empower other women. And there's a little nugget of something you're participating currently, and we all want to support. We'll talk about that a little further down the show. But first of all, we want to know about your background, right? How did you end up in technology? Is this something you've always been passionate about, or is this something that you ended up doing based on the need you noticed people have into their society?
Yeah, so definitely the latter. That's a great question, right? I think a lot of times people think that you just always know what it is that you want to do, but how I got in, I've loved music, hence the tattoo. It's a treble clef, but I love music. Always had a love for music. How I got into technology, though, what most people don't know is that I'm a teen mom. I was a teen mom, so by the time I was 14, I was pregnant. And I've always been very good with my academics. So my junior and senior year in high school, I had OJT, so on the job training. So I was working full time my junior and senior year of high school. And while working full time, I was working in a contact center. So that was really my first job, was in a call center. We call them contact centers, but they're call centers, right? And so
Hmm.
I was a call center rep. I picked up a book. The book was called Blue Pumpkin, and Blue Pumpkin is a user manual for a piece of technology that contact centers use today. And so I'm dating myself. For those of you that have probably ever worked in a contact center or anything like that, Blue Pumpkin is now Variant. And so I picked up the book and I was instantly intrigued and said, "Man, this is something that I think I can do. I would love to do this." So I asked my supervisor, "Hey, can I work in workforce management?" I don't know if it was because I was really interested in the technology or I wanted to get off the
Right,
phone, because when you work in the call center, you be ready to get off the phones. So
right.
they said, "Yeah, sure, why not? Take a stab at it." And I was bit by the technology bug then, and the rest is history. So I went on to run workforce management teams in companies like United Healthcare, Liberty Medical, Walgreens, brands you know and ones you don't know. And so that's kind of how I got my start into technology, and it really was, or into the field of workforce management, which led me to technology. And it was able to provide for my family so well that it got me to thinking, man, this is something that other women, especially teens and women that
Hmm.
probably don't have a degree, don't have, access to certain things, should learn more about, because, it would help them so much. And so that's kind of how I got involved in the industry and the career.
Oh wow, fantastic! From one interest to a career, established career now, that is really really awesome. Now, of course, you said something that is important, which is a lot of people do not realize that they can do it, right? That they have the opportunity, and you mentioned people may feel like they do not have the college education or the requirement that's traditionally asked of them in order to be at a certain level, or they do not even see themselves being able to create such a thing for themselves, right? And that is crucial. So that was what I was going to ask you. In technology, you've been working in technology for a while now, and you've met with different people. How do you feel when it comes down to being qualified, right? Let's talk about the qualification of a person, specifically of a woman in technology. Do you believe that it is easy in today's society for a woman to make a name for themselves, or it is hard but definitely doable? What would be your approach on that?
Well, I mean, that's a great question. I think really it's not that it's hard, it's more so you kind of just have to take the bull by the horns. You have to just say, "Hey, this is something that I want to do," and just go ahead and do it. Right. And I think on the heels of saying that, one of the challenges that I found with breaking into the technology industry was that there wasn't really a clear cut career path for getting into technology. There's a lot of misconceptions around technology, in that
Hmm.
you have to be a coder, or you have to be a system engineer, or you have to be something that's super technical. But there are so many different ways and avenues to break into the technology industry, right? You can do tech sales, you can do training, you can do project management. It's so many different
Right.
things, so many different roles that they need in the technology industry. And as long as you have those transferable skills, then you can make it in the technology industry. So one, I think, is some of those barriers are just myths that's around the
Hmm.
technology industry. That again, you have to be a coder, you have to be a system engineer, something like that. Which again, we need those people, and that is great. But that doesn't necessarily have to be your entry point. So you have to kind of, what I tell women, or I tell people just this in general, whatever you love doing, I don't care if it's doing hair, I don't care if it's producing music, I don't care what it is. It could be videography for all I care.
Hmm.
Find the technology that powers that industry and learn that, because you will likely be you'll be more apt to stick with it because it's something that you love already. You love shooting videos, so you're going to find all the gadgets and all the technologies that power that, and you're going to stick with it. You love doing hair, find the technology, find the curling irons and all of the different things, the tools that power that industry, and learn it, and then start to carve out your own path, which is what I did in the contact center space. So a lot of times when people say, oh, you're a woman in tech, do you code, or do you do, what do you do? And I tell them, oh, I'm a woman in tech, specifically in the contact center area and that niche. They're like, how so? What do you do? And so
Right.
that's
Right.
kind of what I did to career path and segue into being a woman in tech.
Wow, that is a smart approach to it. And you're 100% correct, right? Technology manages our life today. I mean, any aspect of life, when you think about it, there is a piece of tech that is managing that. So, understanding that you do not necessarily need to have a traditional technology skill, like you just said, being a software developer, a coder, or anything like that, in order to claim that I'm working in technology. Because, I mean, if the field you're in has technology as a solution, then you're in tech. And that just,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. That now, of course, one thing is to understand the technology you have. Another thing is to be able to articulate that and present that as a service to other people, which is the
Hmm.
segue to my next question, right? Because somebody might tell you right now, Juanita, that, okay, I understand. Okay, cool, right? I understand the technology I'm using, but that doesn't make me a business owner. Now, how do I change that, or how do I make my knowledge? How do I transfer that into making that into a business? That's kind of daunting to some people, and there's the fear of the unknown. How did you do
Yeah.
that, and how can other people do the same?
Yeah, well, first you got to kick fear in the teeth, right? Like you got to kick fear all the way in the teeth, because that's just going to hinder you. But
Hmm.
what I did was I found a gap, and what I did was I said, okay, this is a gap in the technology, right? It was not that the technology wasn't working, but the technology is made for the user. And so if the user isn't using the tool as it was created, or they're not getting good user adoption out of the tool, then that means that there's a gap between the user and the technology. And so I just became that bridge between the two, and that's how I created a business model. And so what we do is we go in and we find companies that are maybe using this piece of technology. They have a need for the technology. So we have the technology and the user, and we say, Solid Rock says, hey, this is how you can actually get greater user adoption out of the tool, because no company buys a piece of technology not to use it.
Right,
Right. So if you've
right.
already invested in the technology, you want to use it. The mere fact that you're not getting good user adoption out of the piece of tool that you bought means that I now have a job,
Mm.
right? There's a need for me. So if that could apply to any model, right? So if you
Hmm.
are a videographer, right, and you love Canons or whatever, you love Sony's, and you notice, hey, Canons are selling this, camera, or Sony's selling this camera, or whatever the technology is, and the users aren't really using it as design, maybe they don't know where to plug in the USB, or they don't know what
Mm-hmm.
to do, whatever. Now you become that bridge, and the technology companies love you because now they get brand stickiness because the customer is using the tool to its greatest capacity and buying into it more and more and more. Then the user loves you because they actually are getting their $700 worth out of the camera,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or
Mm-hmm.
$1,000, whatever the case is. So now you become a solution to that problem, and that's what we did. We found a gap in how users were using the technology, and we said, hey, because we've been users, which is why I'm always saying, whatever you love currently, because I've been an agent on the phones, I've been a
Right.
workforce manager and used the tools, I can now tell you from a use case perspective how better to use the tool, right? And so that's kind of how we built our practice.
Well, that's exactly what we need because yeah, you cannot claim to help other people on a tool that you do not master yourself. So the foundational piece there will be first understand the tool you have, and
Yep.
from there, and the way, just to add to what you said, because I'm in tech as well, and I love this conversation. And the thing is, there's a lot of people that uses the same similar tools. So the question is, what will separate you from everybody else? And I humbly believe what will separate you is your deep knowledge of that specific tool. And because you became a quote unquote expert in using that specific tool, now you become a needed person surrounding that conversation. So now you can connect with other companies. And the way you package it is also something you need to think about because in today's society, there are multiple ways where you can create a stream of income, which is you can package that as a training course, right? As a digital training course where people can purchase and download and just, self-paced, or you can have a company built surrounding it like rock solid. And what you do is they call you, they book you and your team. You go and train people in house to master a specific aspect of the tool that they're using for their company, their solution, and that is a full time job, which
Yes.
is awesome. I mean, which is awesome. Now, I know you're a woman. That doesn't mean you had to help other women. Now, let me ask you, why did you choose to help other women do the same thing? Because not every woman does that. So, where did you find that need, or what was the reason why you decided to start helping other women?
Mold is, I mean, it's layers to that. It's layers to that answer, JP. One, because I was a teen mom, so I know what it is to have to make decisions between, okay, do I buy my child a jacket for winter,
Right, right.
or do I pay the rent? Because money won't stretch. And so when I got into workforce management and technology, I didn't have those kinds of questions anymore. So that's one reason. I want to be able to empower women to be able to make their own financial decisions. I can have both. I can have my rent paid and I can buy my kids school clothes, right? Winter clothes. They don't have to make that decision or do something that is demeaning to them in order to make both of those things happen. And then two, one of the other reasons is simply because I got tired of walking into companies and people would be confused that I was the person that was their consultant for the day,
Right,
So
right,
I would
right.
walk into companies and they'd be like, "Oh, so you're the trainer?" It's like, "Yeah, I'm her, she me, and I'm here,
Right.
So I want to normalize in my niche again. Like I say this all the time. Women in tech is so much bigger than just me, right? Like this is I would be naive to think that I'm the only one driving this initiative, but I can do my part. I can do my part to say, hey, hire us, we will hire and we will train and equip more women to get comfortable in the world of technology, because we use a lot of different pieces of technology, not just the contact center technology. Sometimes I'm training women on, hey, how to use Zoom, how to use Microsoft, how to use
Right.
Teams, how to use all these different things. I'm training them on that because in the pandemic we went to doing a lot of remote training. In
Mm-hmm.
2019 I did over 65 flights because we were doing a lot of on-site trainings. But during the pandemic, we had to go remote, and so that changed the landscape of the type of technology that we had to use to even implement our training. So
Mm-hmm.
it's so much bigger than myself and some income. Right? This is
Right.
about shifting and preparing women to be able to one, be in technology, because this is an era that we're entering into, and unless we want to be back barefoot and in the kitchen or in
Mm-hmm.
roles that we don't want to be in, then we need to adapt to the era, which is the era that we're entering or we're in is technology. And then two, we want to make sure that women are comfortable and that society is comfortable, and they are, it's a normal thing when I show up, for training.
Yeah, I mean that's true. We need that to become the norm, and not having those those surprises and wondering what exactly is happening. Now, let's take it back a little bit, right? I wanted you to talk to us about that first time, right? That first time you received your first gig, your first contract, and your first deal, and you showed up, right, to go ahead and train people in person. How did you feel? What was a few things you had to overcome? And if you were to speak to the younger Juanita today, what are the things you will say not to do or to understand in order to have the better impact? Talk to us about it.
Man, I would say first of all, do it sooner. If I could go back and talk to myself even just as recent as 3 years ago or 5 years ago, I would say do it sooner. Um, but to answer your initial question about when my first assignment or first gig of showing up, I think I dealt with probably some imposter syndrome,
Mm-hmm.
which is probably what took me so long. I've spent my whole career doing this, what I'm doing now. But when I broke out to do it on my own, some of the things that I thought was, this is a male dominated field. Will they take me seriously? I'm good enough to hire, but am I good enough for them to hire my company? Because that
Am
was
I
a dynamic that I
qualified?
dealt
Mm-hmm.
with. That was a dynamic that I dealt with for a long time. Companies would hire me as an employee,
Mm-hmm.
but as soon as I said, "Oh, but I own a firm," then it was like, "Oh, well, we don't really hire companies." It's like, "Well, why not? You was just gonna hire me as an employee."
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
that was something that I dealt with. So breaking past that barrier to really start getting our first gigs as a company, not Juanita, because again, the initiative is so much bigger than me. If it was just about me, I would have just stayed working as an employee. But the initiative is so much bigger than me that I want to employ other women. So I had to break past that barrier to say, hey, hire the company. And so when I first got that first gig where our company was hired, I was like, oh, this is happening. This is happening. This is
Right.
happening. Who do I need to hire? I can
I
hire, because I was so
know.
excited and I wanted to hire people. It was just enough for me at the time,
Mm-hmm.
but I was ready to hire people. And so now we're on our seventh hire. So I'm super excited about that. And those are some of the things I would have told myself: do it sooner. Don't have the imposter syndrome. If they can hire you as an employee, you're good enough as a businesswoman, and just
Mm-hmm.
go for it.
Yeah, thank you for that, because and that was exactly the reason why I've asked the question, right? Because there's a difference between and even you can be okay, let me put it like this. There's a difference between being self-employed and being an entrepreneur. So the mindset is not the same. The approach
Mm-mm.
and the way you present yourself is not the same. And the way you want to get the contracts are not the same. There was a time
Mm-mm.
where I used to be self employed. And then the time came where I became an entrepreneur. And so You might believe, yes, yeah, we want to hire you, Juanita, you, JP, come and help us. And then whenever you say, oh, okay, actually the contract will have to be between your firm and my firm, then it changes the dynamic of the relationship. Then different questions are going to be asked. Oh, okay, so you want me to book your company? All right, so that means that you have a certain value to bring that takes it to a higher level. And of course, the pay usually is higher
Yeah.
because now you're booking the company.
Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head, right? Like I like to say there's a difference between being self-employed and being a business owner. Those are two different things. Self-employed means you own the work and the work owns you. When you stop working, so does the work. Like you stop working, then you're not making no income. But being a
Right,
business
right.
owner means that you own systems, you have processes, and you leverage other people's time, which means you have employees or contractors, so forth and so on. So, regardless of whether I'm working or not, because I leverage systems, I have processes, and I leverage other people's time, I'm a business owner. And so that's the difference between being self-employed and being a business owner. And so when we think about the dynamics of that, self-employed, if a company decided to say, "Hey, Juanita, we want to just leverage you on a contract 1099 role," then cool. Usually that's what it is. I fill out my W-9 and we do what we do. But as soon as we say, okay, now you want to enter into a contract where I'm hiring your business and this comes with all of these other things, E&O insurance, we carry a decent we carry a big policy, and those
Right.
premiums not cheap, workman's comp and all of those different things come with being a business owner. And so as we think about being self-employed and transitioning to being a business owners, we have to think about the tools that's going to require, the processes that's going to require, hiring, are you ready to hire, and all of those different things. So again, the initiative have to be so much bigger than just the money you're going to make, or you'll just
Right.
say, the heck with this business owner stuff, it costs too much, and that's just what it is.
Fantastic. Well, we're about to take a little break. And when we come back, I want us to talk about what are you doing now? Because you're doing something. And we got to talk about it, right? You're running for something and we want to support it. We want to talk about it. How is it you ended up, running for this? What's the goal? And how can we participate? And how can people connect with you? And those type of awesome things. So don't go anywhere. Stay with me. Let's go and run this couple of ads and we'll be right back.
All right, let's do it.
Hey man, this is DJ Strick, and you're watching Content Creators University with JP Hightek. Man, don't miss a thing. Stay right here.
Yes,
Welcome
yes.
to the show.
Good to be here, man. Good to be here. This is amazing, man. This space you've created, phenomenal, bro. Absolutely
Appreciate it.
phenomenal. I'm excited to be here, man.
Thank you,
Excited.
sir.
Content Creators University, man. Woo!
Yes,
good to be here.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome to the show, Lenita.
What a pleasant surprise. Thank you for the welcome and for the amazing introduction.
All right, people, welcome back to the show. For the folks that are just joining us, we've been here with Juanita Coley. And Juanita Coley, she's a successful woman in technology, specifically contact centers. And we're discovering her story. How did she end up doing the amazing things she's doing today? And what are the lessons that she's learned throughout her journey? And how can she share that with us? And she's been sharing with us certain things that we need to understand when it comes down to technology in general, and how to formulate your expertise into a business and take that offering and become a solution and build a business on that. That is amazing, and I'm loving the gem she's dropping. And let's go ahead and bring it back onto the stage. Hey, Juanita, thank you so much. We appreciate all the knowledge and gems you've been dropping. Learning from your story is inspiring, and we want everybody to be inspired, not just women. Literally, the things you're talking about applies whether it doesn't matter the gender, and that's why I'm loving it, because the way you need to approach this new sphere now that we live in today is the same whether you're a man or a woman. And
Yes.
understanding that we all have a value, we all have an expertise, we all have something to share, and mastering that and understanding that all it takes is a leap of faith. And the day somebody just gives you the opportunity, you seal the deal, that opens doors, and the sky's the limit. So again, thank you. Thank you for that. Now, let's move to the second phase of the interview, which is about the things Juanita is doing today, right? We know today you're involved in different things. We see you busy. We see videos on your social media. We see you dressed to impress, right? We're loving every single thing we're seeing, the production values and all of that. Talk to us a little bit about becoming part of Miss Corporate America. First of all, what? How did this come together? And tell us about it. Tell us more about it, please.
Yeah. So, man, it is interesting for sure, right? So, for I'm running for Miss Corporate America. It's a pretty much like a business pageant more so that takes place here in in Orlando, Florida, and it's happening June 2022. But how I was introduced to this was I had actually just posted about a some work that I was going to be doing for Google. And so the pageant owner reached out. Her name is Anissa King. And so she reached out and
Hmm.
said, "Hey, Juanita, I think you would be great to, run for Miss Corporate America." And I'm like, first of all, I don't do pageants. You got
Right.
the wrong person, right? Like
Hmm.
I barely like combing my hair, like I was raised with all boys. So contrary to popular belief, like this ain't easy for me.
Hmm.
So she was like, "No, I think it's not a pageant like that. It's not like a beauty contest. It's more around women that are wanting to push an initiative. And I see you always talk about women in technology and this, and the third. And so I think you would be great for it." So I gave it a little thought and I was like, "Oh, I don't know." And finally I said, okay, if I really want to be serious about pushing women in technology, I have to be more visible and I have to reach out and connect with more women. And so I decided, yes, okay, I'll go ahead and run. And it's crazy. The stars just really kind of aligned. 5'9", which was my first corporate sponsor, they immediately said, "Yes, Juanita, absolutely. Whatever we can do to
Wow.
sponsor you, we will sponsor you." So they sponsored me. And so you'll see that 5'9" is a CCAS solution that contact centers use, major Fortune 5 and Fortune 50 companies use to power their contact center. So they're my
Hmm.
first corporate sponsor. And I have another one that's pending. I'll let y'all know when it comes through. But I'm doing this. I'm doing this because, I really want to have a platform to show women that you really can do it all, right? Like you can be a wife, you can be a mother, you can have a thriving career. And
Hmm.
furthermore, you can be a woman in tech. And I want to show them that. I say I have a CEO plan, and that CEO, not because I am a CEO, but the CEO stands for creating opportunities, equipping others, and taking extreme ownership. I feel like every woman, every
Ooh, no, no, you
person
gotta
can
slow
do
down
that.
now. Now you gotta
Yeah.
slow down. Say that one more time, because that is some serious jams right there. Go ahead and say it again, please.
Yeah, I think everybody can have their own CEO plan, and that the CEO stands for creating opportunities, equipping others, and you're equipping yourself and others, and then
Hmm.
taking extreme ownership. So whatever that is, for me, that's getting women involved in technology. So I want to create opportunities for women to get involved in technology. I want to equip women. We'll not only create the opportunities, because that's something that companies do. They may create the opportunities, right, and
Hmm.
wave the flag and say, hey, we have this DE&I initiative and we want to get more
Right.
people, but are you equipping them? So it's
Hmm.
not good enough to create the opportunities if you're not going to equip people. So we create opportunities, we equip women in ourselves, and then we want to take ownership of it. Like I have to get out here and do something. I can't just talk a good talk. I got to do something. And so that's what I'm doing. And so yeah, that's what Miss Corporate America really is all about for me. It's some amazing ladies that have amazing stories. I'm like, I don't know where I fall in all this, but I'm here. I'm here.
Right, right. Well, first of all, congratulations, right, from the entire team here at the Content Creators University. We want to tell you congratulations. We're very
Thank
happy
you.
for you, with you, right? We're celebrating with you. So now we want to know, how can we support you, right? What do we need to do in order to support you in this new path? Because we know it's just going to turn around and be a blessing to the community. So how can we support?
Absolutely. So we have kind of like three ways that you can support. You can hire us because
That's number one.
as you hire Solid Rock Consulting, all we do is turn around and we find other people to hire. Specifically, we look to hire women. That's our one of our things is we want to get more women involved in tech, but we actually have a lot of men on our team as well. So we hire. And so that's one way that
Hmm.
you can support us. Sponsor us. You can become a sponsor. So if you want to sponsor Miss Corporate America, you can go to JuanitaColey.com and you can see some of the different ways you can sponsor. And then if you're a woman looking to get involved in tech, connect with me. Like connect with me. Whether it's contact center related or not, I would love to help you kind of put together some kind of career path around something you may be interested in. So you can
Hmm.
connect with me. You can text me at 407 Just text me and I'll save it's, you can save my number and I'll save your number and you'll be a part of the text community. And when I'm doing new things and traveling, I'll be in Texas on the 19th of this month. And then I'll be in I think Vegas next month, speaking at a conference. So I definitely want to connect with you guys wherever I'm at and let me know where you guys are going to be at, and I'll come out. So those are kind of three of the most immediate ways you can support. Connect with me
Fantastic.
online as well. Share Miss Corporate America announcements.
Awesome, man. Can you go ahead and give us that phone number one more time, please?
It is 407-698-3834.
698-3834. Fantastic. Thank you so much. And I'm looking right here. I know I showed it earlier, but I'm showing it again because you are available on social media, on Facebook. For the folks that are listening to the podcast, is Juanita, the corporate coach. Of course, she's also on Instagram. Same thing, Juanita, the corporate coach. And of course, like she said, right, go to her official website, which is solidrockco.net. solidrockco.net, and you'll be able to find her there. She's also available on other platforms such as LinkedIn. And I'm just loving the things that you're doing. I want to thank you for that. And absolutely, this is the things that we want to see. These are the type of things that we want to, be partnering in. And for the folks that, are wondering, okay, can I just reach out and talk about something that I'm going through that is a hardship? Would you be open to those type of conversations, Juanita?
I didn't catch part of that, JP. What was the question?
Yeah, I was asking, for example, if anybody wanted to contact you, talk about how you can help them do similar things you're doing. Is that something you'll be open to? Can they contact you for similar stuff?
Absolutely. Text me, join the email community, like get in touch. Get in touch. Like I'm very accessible. I think that's how we make change. It's not, by just, being unapproachable. We have to
Right,
touch, we have to
right.
connect, which is why I'm super passionate about it. So definitely text me, join the text community. I actually respond to those texts go to me.
I'm glad you're saying that. I'm glad you're saying that
those
because, I mean,
those
come on
texts
now.
come to me.
That's true because some of those communities, text communities, when you text them, you don't hear anything back, or somebody else will be responding and telling you, I'm the assistant of this and I'm this, and they're like, okay, now she said we can text. Now we're texting and somebody else is there saying, how can we help you? Now there's like a bridge in between the person and you. But yeah, I'm glad you're saying that you actually will respond to them. So it's genuine, it's
Absolutely.
real. So you're accessible. Thank you so much for
Now, it
that,
may take
Juanita.
me a while now. It may take me a while, but I do respond to every text.
I understand. And we appreciate that. Now we've gotten to the end of our show. So I'm going to ask you to please hold backstage as I go ahead and close, and I'll be with you. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. And again, folks, she's available. Talk to you soon, Juanita.
Thank you so much for having me. Bye.
Absolutely. All right, folks, this is it. This is the Content Creators University. Amazing people doing amazing things and sharing amazing knowledge with us here every single week. People like Juanita Coley that are impacting the technology community, and we're honored to have them on the platform to not only learn from their background, their experiences, and but connecting with them, right, and expanding this network of creators that we are. Thank you for connecting here. If you appreciate this type of videos, go ahead and smack the like button down there. I want to go ahead and give a shout out to the folks that commented and connected with us in the comment section below during the live show. First Lady Cree, appreciate you being here. Hey, Steve Worthy, always supporting and always doing amazing things. Thank you so much. We have Angelica Prater. Thanks for being here, Angelica. Also, Laura Williams. How's it going, Laura? Thank you. And look at that. We have the big boys in here, Dr. Elo and James Hicks. Hey, James, how's it going? How's it going, folks? Thanks for joining us and being active in the comment section during the live show. Again, we enjoyed this conversation. And remember, folks, we'll be back here next week, I believe on the 13th, right? We'll be back here with the one and only. Let me go ahead and put this back up, and that will be Angelica Prater. She'll be with us here to talk about how to articulate and charge your worth. This is something you want to tune in, folks. If you want to understand the best way to articulate your value and charge your worth as a creator, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, come, let's chat. October 13th is the date. She'll be with us. So without further ado, folks, I'll see you guys next time for another video. You be safe, like I always say. Shalom. Bye-bye, folks.